Don't worry. I can fly. Believe.
It's time for the last should you pull for units in the Final Fantasy X collaboration, and I saved Yuna for last. She's easily the most hyped unit that we've seen in a long time, and there's a reason for it. So I'm going to cover her kit and everything else that you need to know about her. So if you were on the fence about pulling her, then you can make a decision, although what's the holdup? She's amazing. I'd like to give a big thanks to WarOfTheVisionsCalc.com, and I have to mention that they have a Patreon now, and you can go support them directly. There are two options with varying services that you can get for paying. I am on there as well, so I'll see you on their Discord, and we can go support them together. Okay, so Yuna is our UR light unit that's going to be the captain of our light teams. So she has her own Summoner of Spira main job, and then the Green Mage and Kododama Wielder sub job. She uses rods, hat cloth accessory. It's all pretty standard stuff. As a level 99 unit, she doesn't actually look very good. Her stats are kind of low across the board. I mean, like her AP and TP are good and everything, but her Dex and Luck are low. Her agility's fine. Her magic isn't spectacular. It's as a level 120 unit where she really shines, and you can see that her magic is super high. Her dexterity is fine now. Her luck is still low, but her agility does go up. 64 is pretty good for a casting unit, and then a huge TP pool there. So her master ability is going to give HP and light attack up for light units, as well as give her some area resistance. So that is your AoE resistance. If she gets hit by any AoEs, she has 10% extra resistance to that. And then she gets 20% TP from her board, which is good because she has a lot of really good TP skills. Yuna's resistances are great, and of course there's the dark weakness. That's always going to be the case with light units, so don't worry about that. But she gets 50% charm, 50% silence, and 10% toad resist, and you know that toad resist is going to come in handy. But seriously, the charm and the silence, those are just great for a mage, especially in live PvP. That's pretty huge. Her damage type resistances are not good, except for magic, but that's okay. She gets that area resistance, but also she has huge healing. She has good HP in EX jobs. She's also going to have re-raise. If you can't kill her in one shot, she's going to heal the full, and even if you do kill her, she's coming back. So don't worry about those low resistances. Her TMR is also bananas. It has HP, defense, and crit avoid, but then it gives a Kiraga strength heal to everybody around it, much like Mashari's TMR, and it gives protect and shell for 3 turns to everybody. It's insane. It's going to be so good. The one downside is that it's on a cloth, opposed to being on an accessory like Mashari's TMR. Mashari's TMR is still the bomb, but this is really good, and obviously a lot of people are going to be using this for a long time. Moving on to her passives, she's got some unique ones to her main job. So the first increases her magic and her healing power. Both are very good. And then this one decreases activation time by 200. And I looked into this, and this does speed up most of her main job skills by 1 tick. So that is relevant. If you're using Yuna and you're finding that your spells aren't getting off quite in time for whatever you're trying to do, then you might look at equipping this passive. But she does have some other good ones. You can see that the debuff resistance, magic resist from Green Mage there is very strong. There's more magic if you want to increase her damage. And then there's also Spirit and Dark resist, which will be very important going against dark parties. So you definitely want to consider some of these other passives. The buff duration and debuff duration, you won't use that one as much. The main thing that the buff duration that's kind of neat, if she uses the movement and jump skill with the Kododama Wielder sub job, she'll get that for 4 turns, which is kind of cool if you need it for that long. And then for counters, the one that you really need to look at here is her counter, and it gets upgraded in EX jobs. So this counter increases your healing power by 30 for 3 turns, but if you are in your EX job state, you get your upgraded counter ability, you're actually going to heal yourself for 120. Now that's not a huge potency, except your healing power just got increased by 30, and maybe it's increased by 20 from your other passive. So all of a sudden, this little heal is like an auto cure from Mashari, where if you've ever seen when she gets hit, she heals back back up to full, Yuna can do that as well. So that's why I was saying if you don't kill her in one shot, then she might just counter and heal back up to full, and even if you do kill her, she's going to re-raise. But we also get the reduce all damage taken from the Kododama wielder, and that's a good skill too. That's also very good, although I do really like that healing potential on that first counter. Now, if we go and take a look at her main job, there's a lot of good stuff here. It's a small kit, but it's very powerful. So we have this AoE heal that's going to be a small heal to everybody around her, but again, she has so much healing power that it's going to be a big heal. Then this is an instant cast spell. It's very weak, but it decreases the CT for your target, and it's one of 2 attacks on this main kit, so it is pretty important. She also gets a Curaga there, and then this is her upgraded EX job. It's 100% hit chance holy, but it gets a Dark Killer when you upgrade it, which is just huge for killing some dark units. And then she gets her re-raise here and full life at job level 25. So that means you need to go to the max EX job level to get full life. I think that's fully worth it. Sorry about that. I think this really is another unit that you're going to have to go max on for the for the level 120, or you could get as far as you can, and the Barracks is always going to be able to finish people off. Now for her sub job, it's purely for healing. You get a Curata and you get a raise, and raise is not that great, especially when you have re-raise and full life. So I don't really see you using this sub unless you really want her to focus on healing and not attacking, because she only gets 2 attacks. She gets the holy and then that instant cast attack on the main kit. So if you run out of casts, then keep that in mind, especially for PvE, that she doesn't have very many attacking skills on this kit. But then if you go into Green Mage and then obviously Kododama Wielder, you're going to get way more attacks. But in the Green Mage, you're also going to get a light resist, which could be really fun for the mirror match of light teams versus each other. You're going to get a Ruin, a non-elemental spell, and then a Spirit Break, Vitalize for agility, Defense Break, and an Imperil for all elemental resists. This is obviously a huge sub for PvE and possibly PvP if you can get it to work, or live PvP when you can control what she does. And then we've got the Kododama Wielder, and this has some really cool stuff like increasing your move and jump by 1. That's always huge. Having that another 100% hit chance skill, and then having some pretty high potency skills, the move to target panel, and also this one here has a cast time, but it has a very big AoE as well. So this is her highest potency attack. I see Kododama Wielder being the likely sub for her to give her those extra spells, and then also giving her that movement buff as well. So definitely would love to hear your guys' thoughts on what you'd like to do with her in terms of speccing her. Yuna's Limit Burst is also pretty powerful. It has a pretty nice potency there and also 100% hit chance. The AP cost is quite high, but again, she can use that right from the beginning. It's got a decent range and a decent AoE spread, so this is definitely a good Limit Burst. There's no status effects or anything, but the 100% hit chance is well worth it, and you're going to be killing some evade units with this. Alright, we're going to do some comparisons, and we're going to start with the level 99 comparisons, and we're going to go against Garvel and Sakura. Now I also want to mention that if you leave Yuna at level 99, she does not get full life and she does not get her heal counter. She will just get her healing power increase counter, but without the actual self heal. Now Sakura and Garvel, you can see their stats there, and that they're obviously these are 2 of our strongest magic attackers, and when you look at Yuna at level 99, she doesn't really compare to them, and that's important to note because Sakura and Garvel both get big magic boosts in their passives as well, just like Yuna has multiple ways to increase her magic, so that's not really gonna help her out any. Her stats are just generally low at level 99, and it's kind of interesting because when you go to EX job, obviously her stats are much higher than these guys, but it makes me wonder when these other units get to EX jobs, are they going to be much stronger than Yuna? And that is the case. When you look at units in JP that have their EX jobs, their magic is higher than Yuna's. Now that doesn't really matter because Yuna has an insane amount of utility. She has the full life, the res, the healing, and she has still tons of damage, 100% hit. There's no way that she doesn't hold up long term in all sorts of content. But it is something that I wanted to mention that I kind of thought like that's kind of interesting. They went kind of light on the bar for the very first Magic EX unit that we're going to get, because again, all the 7 upgrades that we're getting for old units, they're all physical units. So Yuna does obviously have like this huge upgrade over everybody that we have now, but the future Magic units that we're going to have, they're going to have more Magic than she does. Now there's one thing that I'm not mentioning, and I have to mention it because someone will comment otherwise, and that's Bahamut. So obviously if you equip the Bahamut VC and Esper, that's going to give magic attack, magic, all this stuff, HP up, agility, so many different things, and just good stats for both of those cards and Esper, all for Yuna, all for light units. Those will also be good for Sakura as well. But really, if you want to take Yuna to that highest level, then the best in slot is going to be that Bahamut, Esper, and VC, and that's quite a big investment as well. But I think she's still going to be very good without those things, and I don't mean to put a damper on her by saying her stats are low, because they're still really good, and she's still really insane. Okay, so should you pull Yuna? Well, she's got super high magic damage, especially at the beginning of the EX era here. The healing is huge, the re-raise, the counter heal, 100% hit wholly with Dark Killer, and then the Kuraga, Protect and Shell on a TMR. Those are all really good. She's just really insane. The con, so I said stats seem low in the long run, and I crossed it out because I just talked about that. I don't think that's actually really a con. I just wanted to put that on everyone's radar because it's kind of interesting to look at. And then the Bahamut Esper VC, recommended for best in slot. It's going to be an investment. You're going to have to think about whether you want to go hard on that to make her truly the top of her ability, and you do need to go through X jobs to get the most out of this unit. I really do believe that. I think she is the most needed to go to 120 out of any EX job unit that's out right now, and you can go to the bank with that and say, Mysidia told ya. I don't know why you'd go to the bank. Hey everybody, I wanted to add a quick con into the list there because Yuna doesn't actually have a Heart Like Needles, the Kodadama wielder skill that gives you Spirit Penetration, and that made me realize that she has no type of penetration, whether it's magic or spirit. Now that again, that's not a huge deal breaker. She has high magic power and she has all the utility that she carries, but it is something to consider that if you go against a magic tank, she has relatively no way to get through that without some help from a VC or an Esper in the future. So here we are. Should you pull Yuna? Yeah, she's really a skip. I'm kidding, of course. She's a huge boost to any account. You should definitely consider pulling for her. I think most of you already are, but at the end of the day, it's up to you to make that decision. There's so many choices to make because we have other EX jobs that are being upgraded every single week. We've got Tidus, we've got Auron, and there's VCs. Of course, we have King Mont and Helena, the 100 cost URs coming out as well. So it's going to be up to, and jeez, I forgot the Nier collaboration. So how are you going to spend for that all? Well, you're going to have to make some prudent decisions, or you're just going to have to whale out and spend a bunch of money. So at the end of the day, I want to hear what you guys are going to do. You can tell me in the comments below, and then we can discuss and talk about it. And you can also hit me up on Discord. I don't mention that very often. My Discord's kind of quiet, but if you post in there, I will respond to you and we can chat live, which is kind of fun too. So definitely come visit us on there, and we'll see you all next time.